18-2. I don't know how much of that was plannable, but
coaching. Yeah. We'll see.
Do you give any credence to? I mean, do you think about hot starts and you guys had Japan and all this? Is that even possible to focus on that?
I think every year feels a little different, and I thought last year you could feel it coming based on the way the previous year ended, 15-5 down the stretch. A great exhibition season last year, going 5-0, whatever it was, but not just the record, but it felt like our guys had something to prove, like they were trying to get back to where we belonged. And so there was a sense of urgency last year. And this year's different because we're the defending champs and it's a short summer. And then, just our unusual camp with the overseas trip and everything that happened this week. So it's a different vibe this week. I don't know what's going to happen, but it is a different vibe, but it should be. We're a different team.
You guys made a couple roster moves today, which freed up your two-way spots. Just what went into those moves from your perspective, and also how do you view now this kind of open competition for the two-ways?
Yeah, this is the worst part of the job is when you get to the end of camp and you have to release players. And today was not fun. Quindary, helped us win a championship last year. He was here all summer. He's a great teammate. He's a hell of a player. Lester did a great job over the last couple of months, coming in, putting the work in. I think both guys can really play, but for us, it was a positional decision. So we are just looking at our roster, and we're going to go in a different direction on the two-way front. And we're sort of, sorting through all of that here the last couple of days.
Hey, Steve, your second-round pick, Gui Santos, recently tweeted he's going to Santa Cruz. Can you confirm that? And how do you guys want to see him develop this year?
I confirm that.
Okay.
Maddie?
Oh, yeah, sorry. How are you looking at now going forward to fill those two-way spots?
Well, we've got a really intriguing group here. I think I mentioned the other night that after the game that this has been just a fantastic group of young players, including Lester and Quindary. So we've got some intriguing guys to fill those. We've got options. There are other players as well who out there who will be on the waiver wire that we could consider. So nothing has been decided. Nothing is set in stone, but we really like the guys who are here right now in camp. So we'll make that decision, in the next 48 hours.
What have you learned about your second unit throughout camp? And obviously the other night they played a lot, and you have a different kind of mix there of young players. And it seems like beyond the obvious athleticism, like Dante and Wiseman have some sort of connection on pick and rolls and stuff. I'm curious how you view that second unit and what it can become this year for you.
Yeah, I've seen the same thing. I mean, the Dante Wise pick and roll has been beautiful to watch. I think JaMychal and Wise have really looked good together, given the spacing that JaMychal gives us with the three-point shooting, and Wise being such a lob threat with two ball handlers who can run pick and roll. And intriguing. JK has looked really good with that group too. So it's exciting. We got a good crop of young guys, and Clay's absence has affected our ability to kind of explore different combinations, that we would look at with that second group. But I imagine we'll be doing that early in the regular season and figuring some things out.
Steve, do you see possibility with your second unit if things go well with that group that would help you maybe save minutes for guys like Draymond, Clay, Steph, and those guys.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the dream. That's what you really want, is to have a potent second unit that can not only just hold the line, but can do some real damage and can create separation. When that happens, then you're able to extend that run a little bit longer. It also might mean that they, by the fourth quarter, you've got a comfortable lead, and you don't have to ask for those extra 4 or 5 minutes from the starter. So, a strong second unit is important on multiple fronts, and one of those for sure is giving our vets some rest.
And JaMychal had 4 threes the other night. Shot looked good. Obviously, last year was a real drop off for him. How good has he looked overall in practices and so forth?
Fantastic. I love JaMychal. He's tough. He's a rebounder. He steps out and shoots that three really well. He can catch lobs and finish. You saw the putback dunk the other night, and he just knows how to play. He's been around this league for a while now, so he understands the flow and the patterns that happen before him constantly. So he's a fantastic addition. I look at him, like I did Otto and Belly last year, someone who just fits our style. I think the difference is he comes in probably prime of his career, great health, no restrictions really throughout camp. But the versatility that he provides with his shooting and rebounding means, he could play at the 4 or the 5, and he could play with literally any of our other bigs and be effective.
One more second unit question. How different does that whole group feel when you have a legitimate 7-foot center like Wiseman, who seems like he's made a lot of progress and potentially could contribute a lot?
It changes our look. That's what I like. And sometimes it's really effective to have a second unit that sort of does different things than the first one. And with James, he's such a threat on that dive, and he's looked great. He's just more comfortable, more confident. And as I said, I think one of the big keys is summer league, training camp. He's built this foundation, and now he's got 2 pick and roll ball handlers that he's playing with. It all makes sense. The pieces are all like fitting together nicely.
We've talked about a lot of depth, and you typically have a starter or 2 play with that second unit. I imagine that's going to be much harder now, but you don't see yourself going to the hockey sub pattern, do you?
I don't think so. It's tough to play 5 guys off the bench together. But it could happen. We'll see. But we could throw Clay with that group. We could throw Wiggs with that group. We could try different people. Moses and JK are both really playing well and having great camps. So got a lot of options. I think I've said this, but given the 82 game season, I think there's going to be opportunities for all those guys based on, rest and injuries and guys being banged up and missing a game here and there. So everybody will get their chance, but we got a lot of people who are ready to play and not enough minutes for them. I blame Bob for that, by the way. It's just, I don't know what he's doing, putting together this great roster. It's just, I got to talk to him. Thank you.
Come on, what was the vibes at practice today with Draymond and everybody back?
It was a good practice. We got after it today. Energy was good. It was a pretty long practice. Getting prepared for as we get closer to the opening night. So guys trying to get that rhythm, trying to get that conditioning ready to play a lot of minutes, and I think we look good out there.
Come on, it's in your time here, you've been part of both starting lineup and the second unit. What are you seeing from the guys that'll be on the second unit this year?
They're picking up the system pretty fast with the new guys like Dante and JaMychal. Then you got Moses and JK, Wise, and that next step, really become real impact players that can make a difference. Then you got Jordan, a guy that could start or come off the bench, he's been leading the second group a lot of the times, and he's really dynamic. So we got a lot of firepower off the bench. I know Steve's gonna have a lot of different lineups he can tinker with and different lineups he can put out there on the court. So I think we're gonna be a really dangerous and really versatile team. That's something that we did last year, and I think we're gonna continue that style of play. Some games, people might start or play different roles, and I think everybody has to be ready for that. And I think we're prepared for that. We've been looking good. What they did the last game was incredible. Guys stepped up. They, everything that we've been focusing on in training camp, they did that, and they're showing how good and talented we can be.
This is a random question. How much when you were young, rookie or second year, did you watch the NBA beyond just obviously your own games?
I watched a lot of NBA. Growing up, that's all I watched. I didn't watch college. I didn't really pay attention to high school basketball. I was just the NBA guy, trying to stay up late, catch the late West Coast games. And so when I came into the NBA, that's all I still did. That's all I do was watch NBA. And so I watched a lot of different games, and really trying to pay attention to our games because it was a different type of style than everybody else kind of running throughout the league when I first came here. So trying to learn that, but I love watching. Let's see what's going on across the league. Watching different teams, and NBA is the best thing on TV most of the time. So that's all I do.
How much would I guess at that stage was just I want to watch this good matchup tonight compared to over the years learning I want to watch tendencies of offenses and how different guys, what moves, different stuff like that.
It's a little bit of both. My first couple of years, I was just trying to watch the matchups. You see my first couple of years who will be playing James Harden versus somebody, or I would love to see the matchups. And now as I get older and play more minutes and actually part of the rotation, stuff like that, now looking for tendencies and what type of sets they're running, what's their style of play and different things like that. But my first couple of years, I actually want to see, I still was like a kid when I just want to see the star matchups.
Yeah, I asked that because, how important is it for your young guys, as they try to learn the league and they're going to be playing more this year to, watch the league and how important is that for a younger player to really understand the league he's in?
I think it's really important to watch what's going on and to study the players and who you're going against, because a lot of teams run a lot of the same sets, and players got a lot of similar tendencies. So it kind of helps you on the defensive end. That's probably how I picked up a lot of things fast by just watching a lot of games and watching from the bench when I didn't get in, just watching what guys do. Because when I got out there, I had to be ready, and I didn't get a lot of chance to make a lot of mistakes, so I had to be really locked in. And I got that from watching a lot of different guys, studying guys, and I love the game of basketball. So if I'm not watching the game, I'm watching people's highlights and just knowing what guys like to do, which direction they like to go, what's the sets they like to run, what team likes to run pick and roll, what side of the court they like to be on, and different things like that. And I think it's important for young guys to pick up those things early, because it helps them when they get in the game to be ready.
Kevon, after the last preseason game, Coach Kerr was really raving about your leadership. Did you hear those comments, and what does it mean to you to hear him speak so passionately about what you bring to the team?
I definitely heard it. It means a lot, for your coach to respect you like that much, and for your teammates to respect you and different things like that. It means a lot. That's not just given. You got to kind of earn that, and for him to speak the highly of me shows all the work I've been doing, not just off the court, just trying to develop myself as a man and continue to get better as a basketball player and as a human, and taking those strides when people notice that and notice the things, progressions I made. My first couple of years, I didn't say much, and one of my goals was to be able to speak up more and be more vocal, and do those type of things. And I'm finally at a place where I feel comfortable, and I feel like I earned the respect and put the time in to do those type of things, and for people to notice that it's a good feeling.
How much do you watch wrestling?
I watch it a lot. My girl gets mad a lot of times when on Mondays and Fridays I say I gotta watch my show, and she's like, "What show?" I hope it's not wrestling, but yeah, I watch as much as I can without my girl getting mad at me.
You were at the wrestling in San Jose a little bit. What was that like? And when did that start? The thing with wrestling?
It's always been a thing for me. I watched it a lot as a kid growing up. I stopped for a little while, but actually when I went to the first event they did at Chase, it was like one of the first events they had, and I went to it and I saw it live. That was like my first time seeing it live, and that kind of just re-sparked the interest. I've been watching it ever since. So going to the event in San Jose was great. Got to see the crowd, see how the NBA crowd is different than like a wrestling crowd. It's a lot of people, but the way they get into it and how the wrestlers can control the crowd, it's just a lot of fun to see how they do it and how we versus like how Steph would control the crowd and how to see how different wrestlers do it. So it's a lot of fun. I got to meet some of the people. So it was just a dream come true. I ain't never been that close to a wrestling match like that. So it was just fun to go backstage and see all the inner working. So I'm gonna keep watching, and I don't plan on getting in the ring like a Robin or nobody. No, I wouldn't say so. Everything felt pretty normal. Everybody was loose. The music was playing. It was joy in the gym. People were talking stuff. We was competing, getting after it. Felt like a normal day to me. So, things happen, and I think we kind of move on pretty fast, and I think that's what makes our team special.
Was today normal? I mean, did it feel normal?
Yeah, we had a great practice. It's good. Draymond, how the time you spent away, how was it good for you?
It was great. I spent a lot of time with my kids. Made eggs with my son. Taught him how to cook. I cook really good eggs. So I taught him how to cook some eggs. It was great. Spent a lot of time with my kids, but also a lot of time dealing with this stuff too. So it's been some long days, but it's good.
Did you learn anything about yourself that you didn't already know?
I learn about myself every day. I think, as I said before, the moment you stop working on yourself, you get worse. And so I think I learn new things about myself every day. That's always the goal.
You feel like things are in a good place right now? Do you feel like things are in a better place, I guess, as you come back than they were a few days ago?
Yeah. I think the more time we get away from the things, the better. We had our conversations about what we need to do moving forward, and we're going to do that. We're not going to continue to hold on to the past. Doesn't mean, people don't have feelings towards what happened or a situation, but we do all have goals, individual goals, team goals, and we understand what needs to be done in order to reach those. And that's what's our focus.
Do you feel like you're in like a better mental state or space than where you were maybe a week ago?
Yeah, I feel good. Obviously good to get back in practice, and just really play basketball and work on getting better at basketball, work on, getting better as a team, competing. That's always fun. So yes.
Over the past couple, before you even took some time away, you said this, and Steve has kind of touched on this over the past couple of days. It's going to take time to kind of build trust back. Where do you feel the trust level is with yourself from your teammates? And I mean, what do you feel that you need to do to build that back?
Yeah, I don't, when everyone says like build trust as a team, I don't really quite understand that. What's trust? Is it trust that you're going to make the right play? I think I always make the right play. I mean, to the best of my ability. I don't always make the right play, but to the best of my ability. So, is it that? Is it like, what is that? I think, what we do have to do is make sure we're together, make sure we're doing the necessary things that it takes to win a championship, make sure we got each other's back. But I think of so many different things when I hear the word trust that I'm not always certain that that is the most fitting word for what people are trying to say. I think it always sounds good, and everyone kind of has this idea of what that means. But yet, what does that truly mean? I don't quite know.
Do you have a word in this instance that you think?
I think it's making sure our team camaraderie is right. I think that's always important. Like, you can tell when you're playing against a team and they have bad camaraderie, you can tell right away. I know I can. I kind of feel for that. You're looking to see if they got good camaraderie, because if not, they can be broken easy. And so I think for me, as a leader on this team, like, you just got to make sure you have good camaraderie. If you have that, you can almost build through anything if you got good camaraderie amongst your guys.
Do you feel that camaraderie is strong right now?
I don't think that's something that really gets very shooken. You have incidents and things that takes place over the course of a year, but I think, your camaraderie is built on who you have on your team to the core, and I know, at the core of what we've built, we have great guys. We have, we have competitors. We have, guys who want to win. And so, when you have that, I think camaraderie is a strength of ours. And I don't think that'll be taken away because we have an incident that takes place. No matter how good, no matter how bad, I think that goes deeper than what happens on a day-to-day or what could happen on one particular day.
Draymond, a lot of people have been talking about the length of your suspension or whatever you want to call it, you being away from the team, and maybe it's too short or whatever. Why do you think that this length of being away from the team or punishment was the necessary step in this?
Quite frankly, I don't think that's everyone's business. The conversations that I've had with people in this organization, with my teammates, the conversation that other people has had with my teammates, the conversations that teammates has had amongst each other, those are the conversations that matter. And ultimately, if we all have conversations and we decide that we think that's best, then at the end of the day, that's what matters, not what someone else's opinion is at the end of the day. It's about what we feel in this organization is best together, not what someone else thinks. I'm pretty certain Jordan had input. Steph had input. Looney had input. Andre had input. Clay had input. And ultimately, you come to what you think the best decision is and taking all of that into account. And we've all had those conversations. So if I'm being quite honest, I don't really care what other people think. I don't wake up and come to practice with other people. I don't go to bed at night wondering what the hell the people who think it should be longer is doing, or longer, or whatever. Whatever someone may think, that's really not quite my worry or care. My care is what guys in this locker room think, what people in this organization think. Outside of that, I can really care less what someone has to say.
This incident has kind of sparked a wider conversation about your future with the Warriors. I mean, which was already, kind of coming up, obviously, with the unsettled contract situation. What is your general view of, your future here, and do you feel like this incident may have impacted that at all?
My general view of the future here is I'm here this year trying to win a championship. I have a contract that ranges through next year. If I so choose to pick up that option, and that is my view of how it'll be here. We all have a goal to win a championship, and that is that. As far as what I think of a contract or an extension, we started the season, or starting the season. We started camp, and I spoke on that at the very beginning and said I don't think we'll do an extension. Quite frankly, that doesn't mean that I won't be back here. I just don't think we'll do an extension this year. And so I said that at the beginning of camp. That's not something that I'm going to talk about all year. We got a championship to win. I'm not one to let conversations about my future or what I'm going to do next year or what someone else is going to. I don't get off into that. I don't like to let contract drama linger, especially when it's involving me. Quite frankly, what other people do with their contracts, or if you're going to let a contract situation linger, then you better be damn sure that you're willing to handle all the effects of a contract lingering that it can have on the team. And quite frankly, everybody don't do that. We've seen LeBron James have contract situations. We've seen Steph Curry have contract situation, and they handle it, and they handle it the way it's supposed to be handled. Can't say that for everyone. And so if you're going to let a contract situation linger, you better be ready to deal with what comes with that every single day and the effects that it can have from a day-to-day situation. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. And quite frankly, I'm not willing to deal with that every day. So my contract is what it is. I have 2 years left on my deal, including this year. And I am a Golden State Warrior trying to win another championship in this organization. That's what it is for me. That's not something that I'm going to harp on all year.
Draymond, being that this is a business, whether you guys are best friends or not, it's neither here nor there. But where's your feeling about the business side of how you and Jordan will be from this point forward? And then also, what was the best counsel you've received during this last week?
As far as us moving forward, Jordan's a professional, I'm a professional. We have a job to do. We both have experienced a lot of winning over the course of our lives, and we know what that takes. And so we're going to do just that, what it takes to win. And I think that's the most important thing. As far as advice for me, I've had a bunch of great advice. Just to not necessarily alienate, but just to point out one piece of advice or from one particular person, it wouldn't be doing justice of all of the conversations and different things, different people reaching out that I've had, So I am very appreciative of people that have reached out and, giving words of advice, words of encouragement. It doesn't go unnoticed. I'm very appreciative of that. So I would be lying if I sat here and said there's only one thing, or one person that gave me some advice that just stood out amongst so many people. Like I have great people in my corner. And I'm appreciative of that.
Draymond, I know you guys are just coming off the title, but do you feel like with this group, there's still another level of like cohesion and something you guys can get, this year with Wiggins and everybody?
I think as you grow with a group, that can always get better. And I don't think that's something that we've struggled with over the years and having teams that's together. Like I said before, that's been a strength of ours, and so I don't expect that to be any different. I do think, another year of playing together, it helps, because you just continue to build the familiarity amongst each other. And so I don't doubt for one second that we'll continue to build that and that this group can continue to get better and that there's more levels that this group can reach.
Draymond, the closest parallel to this preseason situation with you and Jordan, you and your relationship with KD comes to mind with what happened a few years ago. And you and KD were able to get past it. And I know you and Jordan were really close when he got in the league. Do you think you guys will be able to get back to that point to where you guys were?
I'm not sure. As I said before, that's not up to me. So nor do I think there's much relevance. Quite frankly, we both know how to play basketball, and that is the most important thing for us. We're paid to do a job, and we're going to come and do that job to the best of our ability. And, we want to continue to win. So we're going to do what we have to do to win. Everything else outside of that, number one, be handled amongst us. But number two, it's neither here nor there. What we do on the basketball court is what's important. And I think sometimes we get so caught up into trying to analyze people's lives instead of analyzing basketball. And one thing I'm damn sure of is we play good basketball together. Hence the fact we won a championship. So we'll continue to build on that.
Everybody, you finished the year such a high, winning the title, playing well. You came in camp, looks like you're in really good shape. And now you're 32. What's in store for you this year? And is your motivation at an all-time high to produce?
Yeah, I'm going to prove a lot of people wrong this year. I've been proving people wrong my whole life. So, there's some added motivation and not quite proving people wrong because the same people that's talking now have been the same people that's talking forever and they've been wrong the entire time. And then they just give new hot takes about how you can't do it this time, but never acknowledge the time that the million times that they said you couldn't do it and were wrong. So not quite motivated by those people, but there are definitely some motivations coming from that's been sparked by some people, and I'm going to use that, and I'm going to do exactly what I do when I'm motivated in a major way. And I think you and I both know what that is. So I'm looking forward to this year. It's going to be a fun year.
But it seemed to make a lot of sense that you guys got a championship. You're really deep. Maybe the expectation was you'd rest more than normal, kind of be prepared for defending the title in the playoffs. Is that kind of out the window, or you feel like you can?
I feel great. As far as when I rest, as I've stated before, I trust Rick and Dave and their process and, their judgment and what they think and their opinion. And so I try to trust in that and follow their guidance as they're the experts on that side of things. But I feel amazing. Feel like I'm in pretty good shape. My game feel good. I feel great. Like I'm going to have an incredible year.
Draymond, I'm just looking for clarity on something you said. You talked about how contract lingering can have an effect on the team and that you better be ready to deal with like what comes on that every single day. Are you saying that like a contract lingering, is that it is a player? Is it the organization? Is it front office people that have to deal with it? Like what do you mean by that?
Everybody has to deal with it. Front office has to deal with it. Players have to deal with it. Representation has to deal with it. Everyone has to deal with it. But what I'm speaking on player. If you're going to leave contracts in limbo, you better be somebody that's willing to stand in front of that and not hide behind it. And I'm not really willing to stand in front of that.
So what do you mean?
Although if it was something that I wanted to deal with lingering, if it's a decision I'm making and that's going to continue to linger, then yes, I will stand in front of that. But if that's not some decision that I'm making, like, oh, you're making this decision to not sign this and continue to move forward, and figure, then yeah, you stand on it. But that wasn't a decision that I made, so that's not something that some drama that I'm going to stand in front of. It is what it is. Again, quite frankly, I have 2 years left on my deal, and that's my focus, how I'm going to complete those 2 years. Now, in saying that, yes, I do have an option at the end of this year. I'll have pretty great representation that made sure I had an option for the next year. So, when it's time to make that decision, then I'll stand in front of it, and whatever decision I make is the decision that I make, and I'll speak on it and answer whatever question about it. But if I'm not the one making the decision, then that's not for me to stand in front of.
I had one quick one. Last year, it was the win and develop type plan, but generally when it came to the playoffs, the rookies didn't play, and you guys had veterans who could play. This year, it does seem like the youth has to play 2 more rookies. How does it feel different this season?
Well, it's going to feel different because there's just more expectations when you win a championship. At least amongst ourselves, there don't seem to be much expectation outside of here. Unless you're Stephen A. that kind of calls it the right way and gets it right and then call it again the same way. Probably going to get it right again. But for the most part, there's not those same people that said we have 14% chance to win finals are the same people that saying I think they maybe said we're in the 8 seed now, and yet they're still respected as basketball minds. Got to be more careful.